cafe. Anyway, hello, it's Mike.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike, what episode are you up to now? Are you still doing your podcast? Yes, I am, as to wit. Mike's Daily Podcast, episode 2673. Hey, hello there, my friend. Maybe you're part of the TikTok generation, and you don't like this kind of thing that lasts longer than 36, 37, 38, 39 seconds. No, you want something much faster that's done already.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I understand. This ain't no Never Never Land. You're gonna have to deal with this, though. It's a little bit longer.
Mike's
and we talk about things.
Daily
You and I.
Podcast.
Because you can join the conversation.
Yeah.
You can call me if you'd like. As my voice gets deeper and deeper every podcast because of whatever is ailing me these days. I think it's just getting older and hitting your mid-50s and that kind of thing. 510-228-4640 is the number if you would like to call it. 510-228-4640. Feel free. It is a recording thing, and it will record your voice saying whatever. And we will listen to your answers, your comments in the section emails from email and your comment not so comments. So the last time I spoke to you, I think it was Star Trek Day or something. But today, if you're listening to this on the 13th of September, it is Positive Thinking Day. The luckiest day of my life was when I met my lovely lady friend, because she's so positive and a positive thinker overall. Very positive person. And I want to do nothing to cause that to go away. It's also National Bald is Beautiful Day, so that's right up my alley, because I'm another one of those podcasters that's bald. I'm a bald podcaster, and that's fine. Bald podcaster. That's right.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And it's also National Kids Take Over the Kitchen Day, which is always a wonderful idea, isn't it? Let's see what they do, what they get into. They're not going to cause any problems. Everything's going to be fine. Something will be made that will be delicious. There'll be nothing to clean up afterwards. It'll be perfect. What a great idea. This is the best idea day ever. It's also Uncle Sam Day, because you have your Veterans Day, your Flag Day, your Arbor Day. You've got to have an Uncle Sam Day to appreciate Uncle Sam. And people with gray beards that wear funky hats that are patriotic. The late great Basil the Boxer like hats. Well, kind of, sort of. Occasionally we throw one on his head, and it would stay on his head for 0.5 seconds. As long as that was, it would be on, and it would fall off. It'd be gone. National Peanut Day. And for all of you with allergies, I'm sorry. It's not your greatest day, is it? And speaking of which, National Celiac Disease Awareness Day. Oof. That's not easy to live with. Maybe that's what I got going on in my throat these days. But you know what I don't know, you know, maybe you know, or you don't know, but you know. That was profound. If it is September 14th when you're listening to this, it is National Parents Day off. We had a National Parents Day recently. That's just sort of a, well, you missed Mother's Day, you missed Father's Day. National Parents Day. Celebrate that. Get a card. I'm sure you'll find one there at the Safeway in the card section. That is it looks like a bomb went off in the cards. I dread. Oh, I need to get a card. What's the only thing open? Oh, Safeway. Oh, we're in trouble. At least go to the local pharmacy. A Rite Aid, which we don't have a Rite Aid in Podcastro Valley anymore, and that's where we are, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth at Cafe anyway. No, we don't have that anymore, so it closed down. The biggest Rite Aid in the world, it just occupied this enormous space, which is bizarre in the Bay Area to have a store that's big because we just don't have the space for it. Now it's this big empty building. Somebody got to put a dirigible in there just work on a dirigible in there. There's too much space not to be used on something like a dirigible. And it's National School Picture Day. I'm guessing that is because young kids are getting those pictures taken that they'll look at years and years later and go, oh, I was young and innocent once. And, oh, look, my mom made me wear a tie. Oh, what kind of haircut was that? Why did my parents on National Parents Day off day give me a haircut like that? Yikes. At least I had hair. Going back to if you're listening to this on the 13th, it's National Bald is Beautiful Day. And that's what pertains to me now. So I've got the funkiest haircut of all.
Ginormous.
That I'm sure about 50% of the men in the world have as well.
The Fascinating Material Project.
I would have talked to you yesterday, and maybe I'm slightly hoarse and raspy because of what I had to go through yesterday. And that is, we had a power outage in Fremont. Unfortunately, a power outage is not the best thing if you're running a radio station. Here's something. If you don't work in radio, I'm going to tell you something right now, and that is, in order to run a radio station, you need, what is it? Oh, yeah, electricity. And we didn't have any electricity because a transformer blew up. 4,000 customers were affected in Fremont, and we were off the air for quite a considerable amount of time. There were 5 radio stations involved. And when the power did come back up, thankfully, within only a few hours, it took a lot of work to get the stations all back running perfectly again, running flawlessly, which I am good at doing. But it requires a lot of work, and you're checking this and checking that and double checking this and that, triple checking, quadruple checking. You're checking because it's National Checking. No, it's not. That was a recent day, like National Check Day, but hey, that's all over with. So glad that's done. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast. Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, I am going to post a podcast picture. The last place on earth. The wonderful Little Yosemite. My lovely lady friend and I went there. It is in the Fremont Hills. You take 680, right where it's about to enter Fremont, you get off between Fremont and Sunol, and you head south, and you will find Little Yosemite. It's a little bit of a hike. Not that far, but it was kind of a hot day. But there's the beautiful Alameda Creek is flowing through there, and it was so nice and cool and chilly. Felt so good on my feet. Oh, you're not supposed to do that, by the way. Don't put your feet in the Alameda Creek. They say it kills a frog. There's a type of frog that lives there, and it kills it. So don't do that. It's bad. And you don't want to disturb the wildlife. There's a little frog. Whenever my mom or dad, no, more my mom, heard something like that, she'd be like, oh, that's so ridiculous. And then she'd have a story about eating whatever that animal was. Like, she lived in Florida, and they purposely tell you do not turn on lights on the beach during a certain time of year in Daytona Beach, because it will cause the sea turtles that are coming out of the ocean to spawn to get lost, to go the wrong way, and they die. And it's all your fault because you turned on a light. Yes, light in this instance is a bad idea. Well, my mom had a boyfriend for a couple of years he was very much older. My mom was older too. They were both, it was a late in life romance is what it was. And he said to me, as we're talking about the turtles, oh, I love turtle soup. No. The point is to save the turtles. His name was Mike. Mike, you don't want to be bad to the turtles. You want to be good. Turtles need to live, so that's why we turn the lights out. And when you're on the beach, which is bad if you're going to have dinner in Florida on the beach, because, well, you can't see your food at night because of the trying to save the turtles.
A fine article.
You silly, great, fat article.
Mike's Matthewsman Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
Mike's Out of Left Field Recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
Apparently, and this is from Rob Black, I produce his podcast, The Rob Black Show, where he talks about money and interesting things like this. Visa and MasterCard for decades have had a near duopoly on electronic payments. A trifecta of threats from Congress, cryptocurrencies, and financial technology companies. They want to take down the big boys. Last year, Visa earned $4.2 billion on a total of $8.1 billion in revenue. And MasterCard had a net income of $2.8 billion on revenue of $6.3 billion. And merchants have to pay them processing fees as they have little choice. And they pass along a lot of times those fees to you, especially in the Bay Area. A lot of restaurants are getting wise to this. So they're saying, hey, if you want to buy something here and use your credit card, it's going to be a 4%, 5% extra charge on top of that. Cash accounted for only 18% of all payments in 2022, which has been trending lower for over 25 years. Only 18%. Analysts love the Visa and MasterCard stocks, but as cash dies, rivals are chomping at the bit to cut into those fat margins. Is Congress, crypto, or fintech like PayPal ever going to be competition to Visa and MasterCard? Rob says that his sense is there is neither the appetite nor the urgency for sweeping changes in this area. So Visa and MasterCard continue.
Magnification.
But yes, that is definitely something that rules our world. People are buying stuff like, hey, do you want to donate? Make a donation. Oh, whip out your card, or I'll Venmo you, PayPal you.
Magnification.
And Target lowered its guidance and reported less revenue than expected in its earnings report. But the stock was doing well because they reported higher than expected earnings and improved margins. Sales fell 4.9% from a year earlier. Target had to deal with the backlash over its Pride Month collection. This was about a month ago. The Pride controversy reached Target by lower foot traffic. It was down 4.8%, which to me doesn't sound like a lot, but apparently that's what the Pride controversy caused. The economic environment also hurt with inflation and interest rates still very high, so consumers are spending less on discretionary purchases like home furnishings. Ooh, look at that nice towel set and electronics.
You will travel into the incredible universe.
That is Target's forte. And spending more on food necessities and experiences. People are spending money on experiences like crazy, and people are definitely revenge vacationing this year. As I witnessed one of my employees vacationing quite a bit this year. And that was, he never vacationed during COVID, so this was like his chance to finally get out there and see things that he'd been waiting a long time to see. Target doesn't see a significant change in consumer spending patterns in the upcoming months. And Google is in the news because Congress is looking at them. And are they a monopoly or not? Apparently, even on Apple phones, it will default to using Google in the search engine. I'm not sure. I don't have an Apple device, so I don't know exactly how that works. But yeah, so Google seems to be forcing themselves wherever they can. Remember, once upon a time, there was Yahoo. There was, Firefox. No, wait. What was their search? I forget what it was. That was the browser. there was what the heck other search was there? Oh, Bing. So what about Bing, Crosby? Hey everybody, welcome to my show. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. And that's a little early, I know. So Bing got all big this year because of the AI. They were the first to release the chat bot, the chat AI, chat GBT, that in a widespread way. And people were like, oh, download Bing. And they hit numbers that they'd never seen before. Google reportedly is building an AI that offers life advice on issues like being invited to a destination wedding, but not being able to afford it and telling the bride no. So, that's going to be helping people in the future. What should I do, AI? Isn't there AI called Bard? I've used it a little bit. I don't really remember.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
Couldn't do much with it. iPhone 15 production begins in India as Apple is aiming to diversify away from China. They're getting a lot of heat from China. I think China is banning iPhones. So this is what's happening today. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah, the Bard and the Google Bard, you have to go out of your way to find it. It's not so easy to get to. So I haven't been able to really play with it, but I shall do that soon and let you know. Here at Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Look who's here. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? I got my horse there. That's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what. What? All this stuff is fascinating. I like it when you sing like Bing Crosby. Thank you. Look who else is here. Oh, man, can I make delicious root beer Harrison right now? I can't wait to drink this because my throat is so raspy. Oh, that was so good. What's in that root beer? I put some delicious vitamin C to help you with your throat. Oh, boy. Thank you. All right, maybe some of that elm. What's that elm stuff that's supposed to help your throat?
Slippery elm.
Slippery elm. Thank you, lovely lady friend. Next show is going to be the wonderful. Okay. I'll go. Whoa. I'm sorry I bumped into a tree. It's dark out here. Have a good walk. I love you. I'll see you soon. I'll text you and see where you are. Boston had only 3 albums. Well, no, wait, that's not true exactly, but okay. I'm just looking at my CD rack here, and I have Boston Third Stage, Boston Don't Look Back, and of course the first one, the debut, was just called Boston. It had More Than a Feeling on it, and I have more than a feeling that I'm done with the podcast. But the next show will be Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. And call me at 510-228-4640 with your chant about anything you want to say, anything you want to add.
Woo!
See that beautiful podcast picture from Little Yosemite? No, not from Little Italy or Little Tokyo. What was that? Wasn't that a movie with Kurt Russell? No, it was from Little Yosemite. See that picture, that one at MikesDailyPodcast.com, and the very cool picture of Mount Shasta from a year ago that I posted in the previous podcast that was called Puzzle. And this ending is rather puzzling. So we'll just end it.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!